Hello, I'm Brad Addington, Chief Editor of Packaging Strategies. Today I'm talking to Rodrigo Castaneda of TIPA Compostable Packaging and Jared Damman of WildKind Packaging. Welcome. Today, Rodrigo and Jared provided their converter's perspective on convenience and on the go, why compostable packaging is the solution. And what I'd like to do here is share with our viewers some of what we heard today. Jared, one thing you said recycling is important, of course, but for some packaging formats, it doesn't work all that well. Would you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure, yeah, I'll do my best to elaborate. I think from everything that I've seen in terms of how consumers like to engage with their packaging, it seems that whenever they're done eating or whatever it is, it's particularly around food, is kind of the main gist is around food. And as soon as they're done eating that packaging, they always kind of get confused of what to do with that package, because it is confusing, frankly. I mean, I work in the industry and I sometimes can't tell the difference of whether or not this is a polyethylene material or a PP material, or like how do I actually engage with this? Does it need to be a store drop-off, etc.? So it is confusing for people to engage with on a consumer level, and so it doesn't work super well with on-the-go packaging. Whereas if it's something that contains food, in making it so simple that if it's contained in food, let's put it the exact same place where all of the food waste goes, that connection becomes a lot easier and more salient for the consumers to engage with and understand how to engage with that product. That's kind of what I meant about that.
I think you said the packaging should go where the food waste goes.
Yeah, I mean, and MRFs or recycling facilities that struggle to sort through those different flexible packaging formats in their facilities, it's really hard for them to pull out particularly small flexible packages, and that's the other element of this. So at the end of life, if they do even find their way into the recycling stream, the MRF's ability to actually pull that out can be difficult, and so oftentimes they'll end up just burning whole batches of what could be recyclable material because it's too contaminated with these smaller flexible pouches that they can't recycle, and or might even cause issues with their recycling facilities as it goes through the system.
I guess this could be for Rodrigo or Jared. What kinds of questions do you get when you're talking about the customer considering converting to compostable packaging? What kind of questions do they have, and what kind of answers can you give them?
Yeah, some of the initial concerns will be around their current setup, their current equipment, and how they may use that best. So when we talk about our compostable solutions, they were designed to be a drop-in solution into current equipment. So just as they can print conventional packaging in digital printing in their digital printers, they can do the same with our compostable packaging. Same goes for forming pouches and forming bags and applying zippers and anything else. So there's not an additional investment required for that to actually work. And then the other question that may take place happens along the lines of, will they have to compromise on look and feel and shelf life? Shelf life is always going to be important, and sometimes there's a little bit of a compromise that comes through working with materials that are going to be weakening over time, because that's what they were designed to do, and that compromise may come in the form of shelf life, but not in the form of look and feel.
I guess maybe finally, why did you decide to make convenience and on the go the focus of your perspective today?
These are the harder to manage materials in the flexible packaging space, regardless of how we tackle them. Smaller formats are harder to sort in a MRF or even in the environment. Most of these applications that we're talking about are in direct food contact. Food contact in a package then creates contamination. That contamination also may hinder the recyclability of those materials. So we go hand in hand, and it's not that recyclability doesn't work. It works in certain places very well, but these are the harder to harder to figure out types of spaces where TIPA, WildKind, we're choosing to work, because it creates the right type of solution for the right type of format.
Well, like you say, the compostable packaging can go where the food waste goes.
Yeah,
Just
it
go
goes
together.
where the food waste goes. Just make it really easy. I mean, the on-the-go factor of when you take a chip bag and you go out and you go for a hike and you have the snack at the top of the mountain and somehow it might fall out of the bag. Well, if it's a traditional plastic, that's going to stay there until somebody picks it up. It's not an ideal composting situation either. However, there is a better chance that once it does get buried, either by natural processes or et cetera, it might break down on its own in a way that the environment can actually use it. So even from kind of like the worst case scenario, it can help cover the basis of making sure that we get to preserve these beautiful like nature spaces that we all get to enjoy right now. And we want to make sure that any future generations get to continue to enjoy that as well. And the on-the-go convenience factor is just one of those situations that they typically end up in more difficult end-of-life scenarios where they might not have access to a recycling store drop-off location, for example. It's an easier selling point, and also the on-the-go snack foods, etc. They typically sell at a higher gross margin because it's a smaller form factor that is more made up of the packaging. It can absorb some of those costs a little bit better.
There's one thing I want to add is that there's no we're not promoting of this culture of let's throw things out into the environment.
Yeah,
definitely not promoting.
Because, and I say that because just as I would need a banana and then throw the banana peel out in my garden because I could, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
That's not the best way to do it. But it's true that if later on someone left that out there, we were able to pick it up. With the plastic, there's not much more that we're going to be, conventional plastics, there's not much more that we're going to be able to do. But even if it's compostable plastic that's been sitting there, maybe it's surrounded by more dirt or other stuff around it. Mm-hmm. Well, it goes perfectly into the compost pile. Same thing it was designed to do originally.
Yeah.
So it's still something that we can salvage. It's not what we ideal situation, but it does sort of happen, because even if you have the right waste bin to place that package or that whatever's left over, some people are consuming these at the beach. Some people are consuming these in open spaces.
That's a good point.
Over in the mountain, and so it's like, do they have to really worry about where that's going to end up? It's less of a burden in that sense.
Yeah. Well said.
Well, thanks for your presentation today and giving us all a better understanding of the advantages of compostable packaging. And we're looking forward to hearing more about it.
I appreciate you having us. It was my pleasure, really.
Thanks, Brad. Really appreciate it.